and so does everyone else in the county. The radio explodes with chatter. The three cops at the bar already have their hands full, so they turn down their radios. They decided to roll everything with the lights to the scene. Jimmy said they were glad for the help when the first few cars rolled up, but they just kept coming. He was known as Jack the Radio Ripper till he transferred. Minor reprimand, and he still had to pay for the pants. Story 7. Former Royal Canadian Mounted Police here, from a small tourist town. Was working on a regular midweek day shift when we received a dispatch call for a bomb threat. It was in the industrial/commercial sector of town. We all went there, called in the bomb squad, the dogs, got people out of the area, so on. We were doing roadside when we got another call that the local bank's silent alarm was turned on. Now, we're in Canada, in a tourist town, things are usually relatively calm. But this was absolutely chaotic. We got the all units call, they call our neighboring detachment to help, we all split and head to the bank. We arrive, around 20-some patrol cars all around, there to see all bank employees bound and gagged, smoke everywhere from smoke bombs. We realized very quickly the bomb threat was the diversion. We immediately got to be on the lookout to get the three males, identified by the bank staff, including a former bank employee. We get the bolo out to CPIC, got warrants to airports and border crossings. We managed to catch 2 out of 3 of the guys. The last one flew back to his home country, was in Canada on student visa. We remained on high alert for days after this looking for the third guy. Canadian authorities worked with their colleagues from the other guy's country to get him extradited almost a year later. In the end, as I recall, about $130,000 were missing and never recovered. For most of us, it was the first time we had a bomb threat and or a robbery. The first time we were guarding an area expecting to be shot at from an unknown location. The robbers were reported to have AK-47 type looking weapons. Story 8. Years ago, a friend of mine was a dispatcher for the county. Covered sheriff, EMS, and fire communications, and also worked with communicating with other agencies as well. From the state troopers, he got some sort of text communication. Not a phone text, this was more that kind of thing. And it referred to an accident with injuries at the intersection of I-40 and Business 85. Something along the lines of, collision, I-40, bus 85, injuries involved. The way it was abbreviated and written made him misread it. Instead of an accident in 5 business, thought there would be bus collision on I-40 with 85 people injured. He dispatched every damn fire truck into the county. They show up and it's a 2-car wreck, minor injuries, and it wasn't actually 40, but I can't remember which highway it was. Somewhere in Davidson. I know the bus 85 part is right though. Read that line like 5 times to make sure I was reading it correctly. Like, that makes it sound like there's 85 entries. And I read a little further, I'm like, oh, that's the point. Surely there was a better way to say that. Story 9. So I interned at the local PD at a time when all stations received new radio devices. The new devices looked a bit like old cell phones that had a bright orange panic button on the top. It was meant for situations where, for example, a single officer was attacked and needed help. Pushing that button resulted in all communications on the standard channel 1 being turned to one-way communication only, so all units would listen to what's going on whenever the panic button was pressed, and an automatic all 3 units call. All other units had to switch to the much weaker channel 2 to communicate, but channel 2 only allowed one device to speak, so either dispatch or L1 or Mark 2, etc. could talk, but not multiple people at the same time like on channel 1. To disable the panic mode, you had to push the bright orange button a certain way. Think of something like holding it for 3 seconds followed by 4 quick pushes. It could not be done remotely. This happened in a rather large city where some police stations are closed at night, usually the ones in the suburbs where few calls come in. That night, an older PO closed down the remotest station in the suburbs and decided to shut off the radio devices. And you guessed it, he pushed the panic button on top because he thought that's where the devices were to be turned on and off. He had no clue what he did. He locked the station into a tone. Since it was the first day of using the new devices, the officers were unsure how to turn to channel 2. Basically, all communication was blocked. Few panic everywhere, frantic cell phone calls to dispatch.
So, okay,
Trying to figure out who closed
I'd like to
the
let you
station,
know
and thus
how I imagine this, the Breeches Bouy to work. So, there's like a rope thing on the top. It looks like it hooks up to the rope on there, but actually goes onto a track that's a bit higher. Now, the higher track, that one has an invisible block that there's always a base on the end for, and there's also a block on the bottom. Now, the above one, now the one that's blocking the block from sliding more away, that one specifically, is, okay, so that one, also there's one on the bottom, Also, there's one of the bombs who help hold in the cart thing before it just flies away. Anyways, that one is that one the end gets unleashed so that it can slide down to the other side. There's also a block on the bomb so that people can get onto it. You know what? I gotta just get paint matter. Get bigger. Okay. So our main building. Turbo and thing. This is the little thing that they go on to. So there's a Dope travels over to another building. The buoy is right here. Now there is a rope thing that goes upwards. And then we have the invisible track. So this little rope goes above here onto a block. There's another block. Pressing it, that I turn off collision for it to be able to go full. Then I move out of the way for it to go forward. And there's one down here that is also linked up to here. So when I move them, they both move at the same time. This thing is actually is not as this is. So then they go and just slide forward to the end. There's this little balcony thing, and then this little flat end to make sure if anyone goes off. There also has to be a. This is the This is the thingy mabob over here. I have the fire up here and whatnot. Fire's creeping up the end. Hmm. That's the other building that they go to. Breeches Bouy. That's just how I imagine it. Okay, so I have to weld it together so that when I unanchor it, it doesn't all just fall apart. Other so what the fuck did I do? Now you're talking! So it's modifications and session. Okay, we have 21. This is 21. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 things that connects to. These all have to be anchored down and can't collide. Though I think that should be below the building. Though also the elevator. Oh Lord, oh my God, I just realized how horrible it's gonna be. So the elevator would have to be an actually operating elevator. I don't know how to do. No, 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 no. I got it. No, I got an idea. Look like flying the people, going down here, and then have the explosion on the backside of it. Also the elevator's fully is welded together. I have a thingy up on the above thing where there's a rope thing. That thing stays still and the rope's invisible. And I have something on the base that also is pretty tight on the rope. I rope to hold the base farther in than the upper part of it. There's something down so that when it goes forward, it doesn't just fall down. Anyways, so for the elevator, it then goes and just wheezes forward. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you figure it out later. Come on, let's start it now. Come on, let's start it now. Come on, let's start. Shout, shout, shout. Come on, shout, shout, shout. Come on, shout, shout, shout. Okay, this little nang right here is because in the original clip thing,